So, welcome. Glad people start tuning in. If you aren't able to make this video right now, that's okay because we're going to post it on YouTube for all our wonderful students. But welcome back to another session of Adulting 101. This is academic success and effective studying. Definitely something that we believe all our students need, particularly if you're going to be successful in college, but successful anywhere in life, really. So these tips are hopefully will take you far in life as they have taken me and some of my colleagues. Hi, I'm Kaya Simmons. I'm a residential hall director at SMU Westbury. I am joined by two of my other colleagues who you may see a little bit in this presentation. They just want to introduce themselves.
Hi guys, I'm Ashley. I'm also one of the residential hall directors.
Hi, I'm Sophia. I'm also a hall director.
So they're just here really for moral support for myself, but also because like they might find some of these tips really engaging as well. I'm a really big person who likes to present to folks just to get these tips so that y'all could go back and be like, oh, rewind, that was really cool, right? Let me check that out. So I'm gonna share my screen with you guys, little PowerPoint that I got into making. So just bear with me. All right, so like I said, this is academic success and effective studying. Tips, and tricks for midterms. All right, and that sounds like a really scary thing right now, but midterms are all but 2 weeks away. All right, so I want to make sure I put this stuff out here for you guys to prepare yourself in advance, so you're not scrambling like, how am I going to get my midterms done? So I want y'all to take the time, right? Imagine what your space is where you study the best, right? What does it look like? Like, what do you think about that study space that works for you? So when I was posed this question, I think about my study space and my workspace. It's definitely this desk that sits in the corner, turned away from everything else. It's pretty organized. It has a to-do list on it. But right in this tiny little corner, it has like a bunch of sticky notes, like post-its. Because I don't actually use a planner. I use sticky notes. And that works for me because when I'm done, I can just pick off the sticky note and just toss it in the trash, right? So as you're imagining what that study space looks like for you, drop it in the comment section. Let us know. Hit us up on Instagram. Drop it in your story and say, look at me, I'm studying, right? Working on my midterms, right? So think about that space. Think about where you study best. What does it look like? How do you imagine that? So after you've thought about that space, right, I want to give you tips on how to create that ideal space. If you didn't have one in mind, or maybe these are tips you could use for a space that you already have, right? So I would just pick one space where you'll just commit to working, right? Try not to make it your bedroom because your bedroom should be for sleeping. So if you train your brain to not do work in your bed, it will associate work with the space that you're choosing to create. Select somewhere with natural light. Like sometimes I know being at home, we under all these fluorescent lights, or some of the places in my house got dark corners. All right, the light bulbs aren't too bright. Try to pick somewhere with a window that's going to give you some natural light as you study throughout the day. In this space, you want to make sure that you listen to music, right? For some folks, but make sure that music has no lyrics, right? Because sometimes we might want to be singing to our favorite songs, whether that's like Megan Thee Stallion, right? Beyonce, Partisan Fontaine, like anybody I like to listen to. Right, make sure that's music without lyrics. So you don't want to rap along with those guys, but maybe you might want to bring in some Beethoven, some Mozart. All right, maybe y'all might like get into jazz and Duke Ellington, right? Throwing some really old folks out there. But that's kind of how you want to put yourself in a good, ideal study space, right? So you want to turn off your phone and other distractions. Like we are so tuned in. Like everything comes to our phones, all types of notifications, right? We get Outlook notifications from school and work, right? We got notifications from Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. We get all these notifications all the time that are like, hey, check me out. Even the news app, right? All those notifications are like, look at me, look at me, look at me, right? You want to turn all of those off. and focus on eliminating all distractions, right? Also, keeping neat and organized, whatever that means for you, right? I just said for me, keeping it neat and organized was using post-it notes because they're easy to take off and throw out, right? But for other people, that means like having things color-coded, everything in a section. And over here goes all my textbooks, right? To the right goes all my notebooks. To the left goes all my pens and pencils. So that's how you create that ideal study space, because that ideal study space is sometimes more than just that physical space, but it's also that mental space, right? What's up here? How are you organizing your mind? Please, let us know which tip like helps you create your ideal study space. I'd like to hear that too. We will be checking in our comment section. So I need help. Right? There's no way I could limit distractions by myself. I do not have the discipline, and for a lot of other folks, y'all don't either. Right? So I decided to find some tips, apps, and all that to help you with your distractions. Right? So we got Dweebo, which is actually a really cool app. It actually kind of focuses on when you are in your best study space. It turns on notifications for you to make sure that your phone's on Do Not Disturb. It definitely allows you to make sure that you're on top of everything you need to do, just creating that good environment, right? And then we got Freedom, right? That's another app. And Leech Block, Focus Me, Stay Focused, right? So Freedom blocks the internet for up to 8 hours. You choose how long you want those to be, right? And that's sometimes when you don't need to do your research projects, right? Or you just focus on a paper that you already have the resources to, but you want to, let me go look over on Facebook really quick or scroll Instagram really quick, right? Freedom doesn't allow you to do that because it's put in a timer that won't go off until your time is up. Focus Me and Leech Block do similarly the same things. These you can actually put in which sites you want to block. So like, let's say you want to block, I don't know, wherever you're playing Among Us at, right? Like, I got to block that because I can't focus. That's what Focus Me and Leech Block allow you to do. And then Stay Focused isn't an app, but rather a Chrome extension. So maybe your struggle isn't on your phone, but rather on your computer. Like you want to slide to the next window and start looking up new videos on YouTube, right? That's fine. Stay Focused is a Chrome extension that you just add to your browser that allows you to block certain websites, similar to the way that the apps do at the top. Personally, my favorite is actually the Stay Focused Chrome extension because I can just put my phone in my pocket and not look at it. But sometimes I'll be like, "Ooh, what's happening on Twitter? Who's tweeting?" So Stay Focused helps me do that. If you guys have found any other apps that help with your distractions or any other ways that you've been able to manage that, like drop that in the comment section too, because like, I want to know. Maybe I haven't discovered all the new ways to keep me updated and focused. Bro, make goals. This is super important. Like creating SMART goals. And when we talk about SMART goals, what we're talking about are goals that are specific to you, right? So you set goals with enough details to know what being successful in that goal looks like. Your goal is measurable, right? Setting goals with the quantified success option, right? I'm item, right? So what does that mean? It means I'm going to write 1 page of my paper in the next hour, right? That is a measurable. It's actually really specific, right? You also want to work on it being action oriented. Write your goals down, the specific steps you need to reach that success, right? So if I said I'm going to write this 1 paper in the next hour, that means I need to complete my intro paragraph, my body paragraph. I need to have my resources. I need to have evidence to back up my claims. Having those things that are going to push you forward through that goal is really what makes it action oriented. Realistic, right? Is it realistic to write that page in an hour? Right? I didn't say I was going to write my whole paper, right? My whole 15-page research paper in an hour. That's really strange and not realistic. Unless you are like super mega genius and could bust out 15 pages in an hour, like that's not a realistic goal. Right? And you want to break down your assignments step by step. Like that's going to be very easy to get through midterms. Also, make sure your goals are timely, right? Like set goals with the time constraint, because then that will force you to get your goals done, right? So I said I'm going to write this 1 page in an hour. That's a timely goal. I've created the goal, I've created the time, and now I'm going to commit to doing it. Creating SMART goals can happen anywhere in your life. It doesn't just happen with academics, right? Like it can happen with any goal. Just the length of time will change, the measurable actions will change, whether it's realistic and specific will also change. So practice good habits. No one does this for the most part. I know we're college students and it's hard. Please, please, please try sleeping for at least 8 hours. It is recommended. Right? Don't skip breakfast. Eating breakfast or eating a meal in the morning is gonna jumpstart your metabolism. It's gonna get you going. And people are like, breakfast doesn't matter. Breakfast doesn't matter. It definitely does matter. It gives you the energy to focus the rest of your day. Particularly because I know that you're trying to stay focused online. Right? You got professors talking to you through Teams or Zoom meetings, and you're like, oh, I'm so tired. You wouldn't be tired if you ate breakfast because your body be moving. Study over time and not cram for exams. That's super important. Everybody's like, oh, I got a test tomorrow. I'm going to start studying the day before. Why would we start studying the day before, right? If you study over time and one by one, like you're more likely to retain that information than studying the night before and sleeping on it. Exercise and stay hydrated. Exercise is something we don't often think about when it comes to like a good study habit. But the more you exercise, the more energized you are, the more focused you are. Your body just gets into a really good routine that does allow you to be better. And then make it time for breaks and fun. Right? So studying could be super hard and it could be tiring, but if you're like, I'm gonna study straight for this hour, but then for 15 minutes, I'm gonna catch up with my favorite TikToker, right? Like those are good ways to break up your study and at least help you to retain more information. Connect with your professor. This right here is Mary Poppins. You know, she taught me a million things like supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. And the professor is now in. Go to your office hours. Please read the syllabus and use a planner. Like plan ahead. That's the point of the syllabus. You know when all your assignments are going to be due. So you can do them in advance and be prepared for every single class. Also, ask for help. I know that's super scary. And a lot of people don't actually want to ask for help because they don't want to seem like not smart or they don't want to seem like they weren't paying attention. But honestly, asking for help allows your professor to know you were paying attention and that you didn't get it. So don't be afraid to ask for help. That's a really big thing to be effective studying and success. Time management. I know y'all keep hearing this word thrown out through your academic lives, like time management, but that's really important, even in college, post-college, anywhere you go. Like create a calendar of dates so that you don't miss deadlines. Make a to-do list. Like I said, my to-do list are post-its. Right? Helps me get rid of things. But other people, you just write them down and cross them off. Right? Make sure you schedule relaxation, exercise, and recreation time. Right? Allow for time to review before class. You want to talk about the things that you had last week or last class. Make sure you're prepared because you can ask questions. The professor may also be like, all right, so last time we talked about X, Y, Z, and now we're going to talk about this. If you had a question about X, Y, Z, if you reviewed before class, you can ask that question. Don't overcommit. Like sometimes we put so many things on our plate, right? Our clubs, our classes, and all these other expectations, right? Family obligations. I only commit to the things that you know that you can complete because you want to pull up and be your best self. And this one's easy to say, but a little hard to do. Avoid procrastination. Sometimes we're just like, oh, I could do that later, right? But why put off today the things that you can do, right? You don't want to wait until tomorrow. So you want to put those things on your list to make sure that you're checking them off. Please avoid procrastination. It'll help with all your midterms. My friend right here, I'm going to finish her project, use time management apps, set limits for tasks, get organized, be like my friend on the screen. Note-taking strategies. Some people who may be visiting this video, right, this may be your first semester in college, or you may have already had note-taking strategies that didn't necessarily work for you, and you're looking for some new ways to make it happen for yourself and to retain information. So I just took the liberty of leaving some down for you, right? So the sentence method is writing every new thought on a separate line, right? You can use bullet points to find them with numbers. It's usually for lectures, very easy to keep train of thought for professors. The outline method also works that way, using from topic to break down the important points discussed. The charting method is organizing information into appropriate section of a table that you create. Best used if you have to memorize facts or data. Or the mapping method. which allows you to visually track lectures and see how relationships are created. So this is like for the structured lectures and breaking down ideas. Really, whichever one works for you is really a good way to go. I say try them all out. For me, I'm very sentence method note taker. Every new idea, I'm like, oh, that's cool. Make another bullet. Make another bullet. Oh, that's cool. Make another bullet. But for other people, charting method or mapping method might work. It's all about whether you're a visual learner or not. Test taking strategies. Midterms are coming up, guys. Midterms, they're happening. Please get tuned in if you are not already tuned in. Ask your instructor to specify areas emphasized on the test. Right? Like sometimes professors are going to teach things that they're not going to test for. It's okay to ask them what they plan on putting on their test. Some professors may have answers for you, some won't, but it really doesn't hurt to ask. Form study groups with the students in your class. Considering the state of the world, right? Those can definitely be virtual, right? You guys can meet through Teams, right? And have conversations or text or have FaceTimes. Whatever is good to connect with those students, but they are experiencing the class in the same way that you are. So they're going to be a really good resource. Avoid studying in noisy places. And I know for some people that may be home. Right? You may have like little siblings, pets, and parents, right? But like if you create that time where you know you're going to study and you let your family know you're going to study, for the most part, they respect that because they want you to do well. Arrive 5 minutes before the test will start, right? That means tuning into your class before class starts. All right. Those meetings usually open up early. Like sit with the information that you learn, right? So that way you could operate, right? Or show up before the test goes live, right? Some people may be doing that on Banner. Prepare yourself. Give yourself 5 minutes to at least review what your coursework that you may be tested on. Read directions carefully and answer questions in a strategic order. Right? Answer the easy questions first, or what you deem to be the easy questions first. That'll help you build confidence. And you'll be really confident in the points that you'll get correct, right? Then you start to answer the difficult questions and those with more point values. Because it'll ease into that. You've already had the confidence of answering the easy questions. And then when you think about your essay questions, always outline your answer in the sequence of order of your points. A lot of test taking on essays, people miss points because like they're disorganized because they're trying to rush. But if you outlined it beforehand, you'd be in a good place, right? So those are my top test taking strategies. I really hope that this helps some of you guys watching this.
Very quickly, Kaya, if I could.
Yes, please.
Awesome. So just previously, Kaya had talked about making sure to find a quiet study space. And I recognize that that's also very difficult when you're living in a home situation that might have multiple people, also probably going to school virtually. The best resource that people overlook is public libraries. Utilize your public library if you have one near you and they allow people to come in. Obviously, with COVID regulations, you got to do what's best for your community. But if you have a space like that, dedicate an hour or two to go to those spaces. Usually they have computers available for you to utilize if you don't have one in your own space. And then additionally, it's going to be a quiet space for you to be able to study, and it takes you out of your home setting. So your mind might already have the home setting set up for chores, taking care of other siblings, being there for your family, workspace. Being able to take yourself out of that and like studying in a more school oriented or a more traditional setting like a library is definitely super, super helpful. So if you have that available to you, please utilize it.
Perfect. Thank you, Ashley. Also, one thing is stress management. Like school is not easy, but stress management is the key to success. So take care of yourself. Your ability to succeed in the classroom is dependent on how you treat your body. Right? Don't make mountains out of molehills. And what I mean by that, it's okay to stress about situations, but evaluate it. Is it as big as we're making it seem? Right? Imagine yourself in best case and worst case scenarios. That will allow your mind to kind of decompartmentalize and allow you to say, okay, this is how I can handle that, right? It also means to break those things down, right? So as you make the mountains, make them into smaller digestible pieces, right? Make them into that molehill that you can step on and tackle. Be prepared. If you're taking an exam, make sure you study the materials, including your text and supplemental material and lecture notes, right? You sat in those classes, right? You are already prepared. They taught you, right? You have that knowledge already. Breathe. During your exam, take some deep breaths, right? Deep breaths cause your nervous system to calm down. Outside of taking your exams, breathing is also good. It's how you live. So take good deep breaths. It'll definitely relax you and bring you into a good space. The power of positive thinking. Like before you go into your exam, silently repeat a positive self-statement, right? Like, I'm great. I can do this. I'm confident. I know what I know and I'm going to do well on this exam. All right. Those are the type of positive statements that you can provide yourself. Also, enjoy yourself time to enjoy life. Right. Once you allow yourself to do that, it definitely becomes easier. You become more relaxed, but also it takes you to a space where you're confident in everything that you do. So please find the time to enjoy life because testing is hard, but school isn't all just about tests. It's about how we persevere through. So really important, right? How can you get connected at Old Westbury? Well, first thing you can do is talk to your engagement coach, right? Bunch of students have gotten them. You guys should have already been in contact with your engagement coach. Reach out to them. They have a lot of answers for you guys. And if they don't, they can help you get to the answers. Reach out to your advisors. You can look on Navigate for your success team. If you don't see one or are unsure, you can always email advising@owestbury.edu. They can answer all of your questions and put you in contact with your advisors. Also, there are really two important resources I want to bring out, right? The tutoring center, which a lot of students aren't thinking about in a virtual setting, but they are definitely doing distance tutoring through Teams. Marcia Glasser is in charge of that. You can send her an email with your request, but you can also go onto the website. Literally, you can type in SUNY Westbury Tutoring Center, and it gives you a list of how to get in contact with the tutoring center. And they tutor on a various of subjects for different schools, whether it's business, business school education, liberal arts, all of that stuff you can literally find a tutor for. And lastly, you can always make an appointment with the Writing Center, right? Their hours are Monday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. They are by appointment only and are also doing it distance-wise. So if you go to the website and type in the Writing Center, they have a link there that will allow you to make an appointment with them. They also have an email. So you could just sit down. Somebody can literally help you outline your paper and work with you through it. They won't write the paper for you, but they will definitely provide you with the proper tools on getting a clear and cohesive paper that will get you a good grade. Please stay focused on these connected resources at Old Westbury. All right. So hopefully you guys really did enjoy some of my engagement tools on how to be successful academically. If you have any questions about this presentation, feel free to reach out to myself. My email is Kaya. No, it's not. My email is simmonsk@westbury.edu. You can also reach out to the Res Life Instagram page or our Teams page with any questions. We have professional staff that are monitoring those things often. So if you need anything, please reach out. We are here. Yeah. My colleagues, anything you want to say? No?
Just continue reaching out. Please, please, please. Normally, when you would be here on campus, you would be following up with professors. You'd be going to office hours. You would be contacting anybody and everybody to be able to make sure that you're being as successful as possible. Don't stop that just because we're virtual. We're here to help. We want to support. It's just a different way of doing it. So if you're confused, if you're unsure, if you don't know where to go, talk to your engagement coach, talk to us, talk to your advisors. We really do want to support you and help you and find the best ways to make sure that this year is just as successful as any other.
All right, everyone. Until next Wednesday, we'll see you again for Adulting 101.